feeling appropriately dressed for today's video in this vintage Charlotte Russe shirt. I thrifted this a while ago and I'm like, wow, what a blast from the past. Technically, this was slightly before the era we're going to talk about today, but we're talking all things 2010s, the mustache of it all. A few months back, I posted a short about 2010s trends that I do and don't think will make a comeback, but today I want to do the long form version, and specifically, I want to plot these on a tier list based on how likely I think they are to come back or not. So here's the system we're using. At the top, we have it's already back. Right underneath that, we have it's coming back. Like, people are starting to wear this. The momentum is building. Under that, I'm putting maybe for some. I think some people will continue to wear this, but I don't think it's going to have the full-blown widespread resurgence. And at the bottom of the tier list, we have the please no category, the ones where I'm like, let's just leave that in 2010. The obvious starting point here is the Galaxy legging, which was a staple of this era. And if you haven't seen it yet, I've actually done a lore video about the early 2010s as part of a bigger lore series, so I will have that full playlist linked down below. But we referenced Galaxy leggings in that video. This was a trend I really didn't participate in the first time around, and if it ever were to fully come back, I still don't think it would be for me, though the other day I did see someone on the train in Galaxy leggings, so I was like, wait, is it coming? I will say she did look cool, but overall this was not a favorite trend for me. I think it is very hard to style this in a cute way. I'm gonna put this in please no. Another theme from this era that we actually talked about in that short that I posted was the business casual to the club. Now, I'm kind of putting business casual in air quotes here because none of these outfits would actually be appropriate for the office. They were like mini skirts. However, there was a big trend to pair a blazer and a dress in the early 2010s, or even just take like office wear and make it a little bit less office appropriate and then wear it out. And I don't see this coming back in a historically accurate way, the exact same way we were wearing it at that time, but I would actually make the argument that this style has been back for a while with a lot of the quote unquote clean girl looks, or even the office siren aesthetic that's been in. I think it really emulates this idea of like taking quote unquote business casual pieces, making them less office appropriate and actually dressing them up for kind of a night out look. To be honest, I was a fan of this at the time. I'm still kind of a fan of this look, but truly we have to put this in the category of it's already back. I think this has been back for a while now. I think this kind of has just continued to evolve into slightly different looks that all fall back into the same theme. Next, we have to talk about Pandora bracelets. These were all the rage, collecting different charms, like starting with the bracelet and then adding on charms, maybe getting a charm for your birthday or for a special occasion or for somewhere that you traveled, like having this charm bracelet kind of as a statement. Like your Pandora bracelet kind of told a story. I will say I never had a Pandora bracelet. Woe is me. And before I even rank this one, I will say I think there have been different styles of bracelet that I have associated with different time frames. Like pre-Pandora bracelet, it was very popular in the more Y2K early 2000s to do like an Italian charm bracelet. And that was a trend I really thought would come back. And I think to some extent it did, but maybe not the way that we were wearing it back in the early 2000s. And then I feel like the bracelet that got popular post Pandora bracelet was the Alex and Ani bracelet, but I feel like that one is more mid 2010s. But I'll tell you what, I was an Alex and Ani girl. I was the girl who had like 15 bangles on her arms, jingling all around. And I don't think the Alex and Ani bracelets necessarily fit into this video because we're kind of zooming in on the early 2010s. However, that's a mid 2010s trend that I kind of do think could have a comeback. To rank this one, I'm gonna say it's coming back. I don't know if it's going to dominate the way that it did in the early 2010s, but I've certainly been seeing Pandora bracelets out and about. Again, whether they're brand new or purchased secondhand, the Pandora bracelet is coming back. Some beauty trends, one that I have been waiting to come back and I keep thinking it's going to, and it never really does, is the poof. This one technically started in the early 2000s, but it was definitely still hanging on in these early 2010s. And I think part of the popularity from this was because this was around the time that the side swept bang was really popular, so people needed to get their bangs out of their face, and this was a functional hairstyle to do that with. So we could argue that's why this hasn't really come back, because side swept bangs haven't really come back, though maybe sort of a little bit, but not the way that we were wearing them in like 2008. There have been a few celebrities in the last few years style the poof, and every time I see it, I think, oh, Are people gonna catch on? Is the poof gonna come back? And it really never does. So I'm gonna put this in maybe for some. I think maybe this is one personally I'm going to bring back for myself. It's a look I just think is so cute. I loved that era with the hair. For me personally, poof is back. Another popular hairstyle of the 2010s was the sock bun. And this one was executed in a few different ways. You could literally take a sock, cut off the bottom, roll it down and make a bun, or you could purchase a pre-made little hair donut to do this with. Or if you had a ton of long full hair, you could kind of create this look just by rolling your hair into a bun. The sock bun, the top knot, something about this very rounded, like donut-y circle hair updo was all the rage. And I will say it was a great hairstyle because it's relatively easy to achieve. I don't think you need to be super talented with hair to be able to do a sock bun. Granted, if you have layers or something, some of these things could make it slightly more difficult, but it's a pretty straightforward hairstyle. Easy to execute, which I think really led to its popularity because, it just looked polished, it looked put together. That being said, out of all the updos, it is one of my least favorite looks. It's very harsh. It's like, okay, there's literally a donut or literally a sock on my head. Like, it's a bold look. I prefer more of a messy undone updo, but I will say the slick back hairstyle that really dominated the early 2020s was kind of the modern day version of the sock bun, okay? 10 years later, it's like same but different. Same hairstyle, different font. I don't know if this one fully goes in the please no category. I think there's a time and a place it could look cool. I'm gonna say maybe for some. I think some people can rock a sock bun and it can be a cool look. Again, it's a simple updo, easy to execute, so I'll say maybe for some. Some people might bring back a sock bun. Okay, a staple of this era was the owl necklace. I don't know why this one was so popular. I will just say in general, a pendant necklace like this was really big. I even distinctly remember in high school, I would never wear a necklace like I am now. I mean, I'm wearing 2 necklaces right now, but I would never wear something dainty like this with just a tiny little stone on it. At the time, it had to have this large statement pendant on it because statement necklaces were also big, but we will get there. I don't know what it was about the owl motif though. There were a couple just random symbols in this time, like mustaches and owls, that we were really enamored by. I'm gonna put this one into please no. There are a lot of these where I'm like, I could see someone really wanting to get in on the nostalgia of this. There are plenty of these where I'm like, I think people will be looking for these at the thrift store or on Depop. I don't see that as much for the owl necklace, but that will lead us to the owl necklace's sibling, the statement necklace, and specifically the bubble statement necklace. You probably bought it at Charming Charlie's. There's so much to say about the statement necklace, and you will be surprised to hear that I kind of think it's coming back, but not in this way. I think there's a cool, sophisticated statement necklace on the way, but before I talk about that, a quick word from today's sponsor. I am a part-time back sleeper, but I'm trying to transition into being a full-time back sleeper. I have terrible insomnia to begin with, but I just sleep so much better on my back. I feel like I'm sleeping deeper. It is more restful sleep. I wake up less throughout the night, but I have a very hard time falling asleep on my back, especially with a standard pillow because it doesn't really give me any neck support, and I feel like I wake up with a lot of pain in my neck trying to sleep on my back with a standard pillow. But Sleep & Glow actually created the Owla pillow to solve that. It cradles your head and has side support to keep you from rolling in your sleep, which makes sleeping on my back a lot more comfortable without that neck strain. The pillow is designed specifically so your face and neck aren't getting creased throughout the night. And I will also say, as someone who is acne prone, I like that my face is not rubbing up on the pillow. Also, a huge bonus for me has been that I just got my tragus pierced, and if you have any cartilage piercings, you can't sleep on them while they're healing. And I was like, I am not about to go months getting bad quality sleep, but the Owla pillow is still super comfortable for me to sleep on without disrupting that. So if you have cartilage piercings, I know you know the struggle. You're probably most familiar with Sleep & Glow for their clinically proven Omnia pillow, which was designed to cradle your face while you sleep instead of smushing it into the pillow like a standard pillow would. I also have and love that pillow. If you're interested in the Owla or the Omnia, Sleep & Glow is offering 15% off site-wide with my code KELLY15. This is one of their biggest sales of the year. It goes until March 31st. I will have everything linked down below. Thank you so much to Sleep & Glow for sponsoring this video. and let's get back into it. The 2020s version of the statement necklace for me still has that bold, chunky look, but it's less of that like tiered bauble that was copied and pasted over and over back in like 2012. But instead it's these chunkier looks. Even something like this, which obviously does not go with this outfit, but kind of has the essence of an early 2010 statement necklace like this. Again, you would see this at Charming Charlie's. This is actually from Bauble Bar. I'm actually gonna rank this in It's Coming Back. I feel like a more modern version of the statement necklace is definitely building. And I like a lot of these looks because they accompany this very scaled back style look that's been so trendy in recent years with like the clean girl aesthetic, or even just the more minimal styling with simple colors, understated dressing, which is not my style personally, but I like that the statement necklace can amp it up and give it some visual interest, pairing it with some of these more like subdued, neutral, minimal wardrobes. I know you're waiting for me to talk about skinny jeans. So skinny jeans, actually, we have a two-part ranking here because we're going to do regular skinny jeans and then colorful skinny jeans because I have opinions on both. I think the regular skinny jean, I'm like honestly debating ranking it between It's Coming Back and It's Already Back. I feel like this is one we've been hearing buzz for years, like the skinny jean is coming back. And with any of these trends, like you can and should wear things when they're not in. But with the skinny jean in particular, I've been seeing it styled so much recently. It certainly hasn't reached like peak popularity yet. So I guess to be fair, we have to put this in It's Coming Back. But I do love a skinny jean. I think out of all the jean silhouettes, it's certainly the most flattering for most body types. I put flattering in air quotes because I don't think flattering is or needs to be the goal of getting dressed. But if it is the goal for you, I think for most body types, a skinny jean looks fantastic. And now the colorful skinny jeans in the early 2010s, I wouldn't say these were as widely seen as just the skinny jean silhouette in general, but there certainly was a population of people loving a colorful skinny jean. And this one I don't know is going to have the same resurgence as the standard jean in a skinny silhouette, but I'm going to put this in maybe for some. I think there is a world where we see people bringing back a colorful skinny jean, just maybe not like mass adopted. I don't know though, maybe, because I do feel like the Gen Z outfit formula is simple top, fun pant, which is the distinction from what millennials tend to gravitate towards, which is simple pant, fun top combo. I'm obviously making a huge generalization here, but that being said, I think there is a world where a colorful skinny jean can come back in a really cool and refreshed way. I do love a colorful jean. I thrifted these like low-rise red bootcut jeans, which obviously is not a skinny pant, so it doesn't pertain to this, but it is, we'll say, a sibling to the colorful skinny jean. And I love these pants. I wear them all the time. Every time I wear them, I feel like I am Susan Meyer from Desperate Housewives. The chevron print. Okay, this was a beloved print in this era. And you will be surprised to hear me say the chevron print is coming back. I actually, debatably, this one kind of teetered between It's Coming Back and It's Been Back. I think it's executed very differently now in the mid-2020s than it was in the early 2010s. In the early 2010s, it was more of a block, chunky chevron print, oftentimes a combo of peach and aqua, which was the color combo that reigned supreme in this era. Whereas now in 2026, there's definitely a chevron resurgence, but I don't think it would ever reach the same like mass popularity that it used to have. But I think of just, a classic Missoni look, a thinner chevron print with a lot of color. I think it can be fun, like beachy or summery look. I have the most fabulous chevron top that I thrifted a couple years back that really has this essence of what I picture of like a mid-2020s chevron pattern. So I'm gonna say it's coming back. Or maybe we could make the argument that it's more of a maybe for some. I don't think it would ever return in the 2010s way though, personally. Okay, the ballet flat. This one is easy. It's already back. It has been back. For years now, the ballet flat has been sustaining popularity for a shoe silhouette. We've seen lots of different variations of ballet flat. We've seen even sneakers feel very inspired by the silhouette of a ballet flat. And oh my goodness, in the early 2010s, like that was the only shoe. I remember my mom telling me like, girl, it's winter. I'm originally from Michigan, so we have like cold, snowy winters. And she would be like, you have to wear boots. And I'm like, no, ballet flats with no socks. One we talked about in my last video was the chunky big sunglasses, but it was all about things that I will and will not be buying this spring, and we talked about the return of the big kind of bug eye sunglasses. These just remind me of Lauren Conrad, you know, in like the peak of the hills. She was kind of like the Hailey Bieber of the millennials. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that comparison, but in terms of like style inspiration for just like everyday wear, the girls loved Lauren Conrad, and that was kind of a hallmark of her looks. She always had the big sunglasses, and often paired with a poof in her hair or skinny jeans or any combo of any of the other trends we've talked about in this video. And for big sunglasses, again, a lot of these, it's tough. I'm like, is it already back or is it coming back? I'm gonna say it's coming back. It's certainly not reached peak popularity. You know, if we're plotting it on a bell curve, we're in the earlier stages, but this silhouette of glasses definitely gaining momentum. The dreaded mustaches, we have to talk about these. And I would be lying if I said there was not a photo of me somewhere with like a mustache drawn onto my finger or something. As random as it is, the mustache motif really was like it during this time to have on a mug, on a t-shirt, as a tattoo. Like, we loved quirky, weird things, or even just like describing things as adorkable. Like, even Twee, we'll get into Twee, I think was like tangentially related here. Like, people just loved whimsy in the early 2010s. I've heard people say the Gen Z equivalent of the mustache is the bow. I get that. I think that's a fair comparison in terms of popularity, but the bow feels at least it makes a little more sense. The mustache was so random. At least the bow is kind of cute. I don't know, maybe when we're even more zoomed out, maybe 10 years from now, I'll be like, oh, the bow, what was up with the bows? But right now I'm like, you know, I don't know, they were cute. The mustache though, I don't know that I can say the same. You know, I have fond memories of it. I'm like, oh, what a time. But I do have to put this in the category of please no, let's leave the mustache. But Twee, okay, this was kind of like a style core before we even called them cores. But this is one I really think of when I think of the 2010s, you know, the Peter Pan collar, the ballet flats with the skater skirts and the fun tights. Very much the Zooey Deschanel a new girl look. I think this I'm like debating, is it coming back or maybe for some? I think this is maybe for some. I don't know that this will be as widely popular as it was 15, 16 years ago, but I certainly think there are people that will bring this look back. This next one feels silly to call a trend because it is a scarf, and you're like, girl, in what world is a scarf a trend? But the thing is, in the 2010s, we were not wearing scarves for function. They were not keeping our necks warm. They were just an accessory. In the early 2010s, it was like a big oversized scarf, oftentimes an Alexander McQueen skull print scarf. This was another one you would definitely see Lauren Conrad wearing. I kind of do think I could see scarves coming back and styled in a similar way. Again, a scarf has never gone out of style, but the way it was styled in the early 2010s, I could see having a resurgence. It is so funny to think about though, because during like the hottest days of summer, we were still wearing a scarf, like pairing a scarf with your maxi skirt, your Chevron print maxi skirt. So we'll put this in maybe for some. The scarf is the one where I feel like it needs actually a separate category. We need a fifth category on here of like, I think it could come back someday. But I wouldn't say it's coming back, and I definitely wouldn't say it's already back. So to be fair, we'll have to put it in the maybe for some category. Should I do this style of ranking for another era? Let me know, and let me know which era you would like to see. But if you missed it, my last video again was about things I will and will not be buying this spring. That will be linked right here. Thank you so much to Sleep and Glow for sponsoring this one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.